40% of people over 65 have a fasting blood sugar level high enough to damage their organs, and most of them have never been warned. There is a bowl of fruit sitting on your kitchen counter right now. Maybe it is bananas, maybe it is grapes, maybe it is the bag of dried mangoes you bought because the label said natural and no added sugar. You eat that fruit every morning believing you are doing the right thing. Your nutritionist told you fruit is healthy. Your doctor told you to eat more of it. And every single morning, certain fruits in that bowl are spiking your blood sugar so violently that the insulin response is nearly identical to eating a candy bar. You do not feel the spike. You do not see it on a monitor, but your pancreas feels it. Your blood vessels feel it. Your kidneys feel it. And over months and years, that invisible daily assault is pushing you closer to a line that, once crossed, your body cannot come back from. You mentioned your blood sugar to your doctor. Maybe the number was 108. Maybe it was 115. Maybe it was that gray zone they call pre-diabetic, a word designed to make something dangerous sound almost harmless. And your doctor glanced at the chart, not at you, and said, "Just watch your diet. Cut back on sweets." Cut back on sweets. As though the problem is the cookie you eat on Saturdays and not the mango smoothie you drink every single morning. That advice is incomplete. It is dangerously vague. And after 21 years in endocrine surgery, after operating on the pancreas, the adrenal glands, and the organs that regulate every drop of sugar in your blood, I can tell you that the fruit you choose, the amount you eat, and the time of day you eat it is the difference between blood sugar that heals and blood sugar that destroys. But what if I told you that certain fruits do not spike your blood sugar at all? What if some of them actually lower it, measurably, consistently within days? And what if the fruits most seniors eat every morning are the exact ones accelerating the damage? By the end of this video, you will know the 10 fruits that actively fight blood sugar, the exact ones you must avoid, and a daily fruit protocol, specific portions, specific timing, specific combinations, that works with your body instead of against it. I am Dr. Catherine, and this is information that could change the trajectory of your metabolic health starting with your next meal. Drop a comment right now with just your age, nothing else. I want to see who is watching this. Before I show you the 10 fruits, you need to understand one thing that nobody explains properly. Not all sugar is created equal. The sugar in a blueberry and the sugar in a banana behave completely differently inside your body, and the reason comes down to 3 factors: fiber density, glycemic load, and something called the polyphenol interference effect. When you eat a fruit with high fiber and high polyphenol content, those compounds physically slow the absorption of sugar through your intestinal wall. Think of it like a toll booth on a motorway. The sugar molecules are the cars. Without fiber and polyphenols, every car races through at full speed. Your blood sugar spikes hard and fast. But when fiber and polyphenols are present, they create a bottleneck. The cars slow down. They enter your bloodstream gradually. Your pancreas releases a measured amount of insulin. Your cells absorb the sugar calmly. No spike, no crash, no damage. Now here is the critical part. Certain fruits have such dense fiber and such powerful polyphenol content that they do not just avoid spiking blood sugar, they actively improve insulin sensitivity. They make your cells better at listening to insulin's signal. And that is the difference between a fruit that feeds diabetes and a fruit that fights it. I want to tell you about Edna. Edna, 72, a retired church organist who had been managing type 2 diabetes for 11 years. Her A1C had climbed from 7.1 to 8.4 in the past 18 months, despite following every instruction her endocrinologist gave her. She was on metformin, she was on a sulfonylurea, she was walking 30 minutes every morning, and her numbers kept getting worse. She was visibly defeated when she sat in my office. "Dr. Catherine," she said, "I eat fruit every single day because they told me to eat more plants. I have a banana with breakfast. I drink orange juice at lunch. I eat grapes in the afternoon. I am doing everything right and my body is punishing me for it." Edna was not doing everything right. Edna was eating 3 of the highest glycemic fruits available, at the worst possible times, in the worst possible combinations. She was flooding her bloodstream with fructose at the exact moments her insulin resistance was highest, and nobody had taken 10 minutes to explain the difference. Be completely honest right now. Do you eat fruit on an empty stomach in the morning? Write yes or no in the comments, because if you do, what I am about to share could change everything. Now let me walk you through the 10 fruits that fight blood sugar, starting with the most powerful and working through to the ones that surprise almost everyone. The first fruit is the single most effective blood sugar lowering fruit ever studied, and it is one most seniors walk past in the grocery store without a second glance. Blueberries, wild blueberries specifically. They contain the highest concentration of anthocyanins of any commonly available fruit. Anthocyanins are polyphenolic compounds that directly improve insulin signaling at the cellular level. Think of insulin like a key and your cell's receptor like a lock. In insulin resistance, the lock gets rusty. The key goes in but will not turn. Anthocyanins act like a lubricant sprayed directly into that lock. They restore the mechanism. A landmark study published in the Journal of Nutrition in 2010 found that consuming the equivalent of 2 cups of wild blueberries daily for 6 weeks improved insulin sensitivity by 22% in obese adults with insulin resistance. 22%. That is a larger improvement than some first-line diabetes medications produce. The dose is simple: 3/4 of a cup of fresh or frozen wild blueberries daily. Eat them after a meal that contains protein or fat. Never on an empty stomach, never in a smoothie, never in juice form. Whole berries. Chewed slowly. That fiber matrix is what creates the toll booth effect. But here is where it gets really interesting. The second fruit works through an entirely different mechanism, and when combined with blueberries, the effect on blood sugar is synergistic, meaning together they produce a greater result than either one alone. Tart cherries. Not sweet cherries. Tart cherries, also called Montmorency cherries. Tart cherries contain some of the highest levels of chlorogenic acid of any fruit. Chlorogenic acid inhibits an enzyme in your liver called glucose 6-phosphatase. This enzyme is responsible for releasing stored glucose into your bloodstream between meals. Think of your liver as a warehouse that stores sugar and ships it out on a schedule. Glucose 6-phosphatase is the shipping manager. Chlorogenic acid tells the shipping manager to slow down. Less sugar leaves the warehouse. Your fasting blood sugar drops. A 2018 study in the journal Nutrients found that tart cherry consumption reduced fasting blood glucose by 9% and reduced A1C by 0.4% over 12 weeks in adults with metabolic syndrome. The dose is a 1/4 cup of frozen tart cherries or 2 tablespoons of unsweetened tart cherry, concentrate mixed into water, taken with your evening meal. Now, this next one surprises almost everyone. The third fruit is not one most people associate with blood sugar at all. Avocado. Yes, avocado is technically a fruit, and its effect on blood sugar is extraordinary. Avocado contains almost zero sugar. What it does contain is a specific type of fat called oleic acid and a compound called manoheptulose, a 7-carbon sugar that actually blocks an enzyme involved in glucose metabolism, effectively reducing the amount of sugar your cells process after a meal. Think of it like a dimmer switch on a light. Manoheptulose does not turn off glucose metabolism. It dials it down. Your blood sugar rises less, your pancreas works less, your cells recover faster. A 2019 study published in Nutrients found that adding half an avocado to a meal reduced the post-meal blood sugar spike by 37% and the insulin response by 29% compared to the same meal without avocado. Half an avocado, with lunch, every day. That single addition is one of the most powerful blood sugar interventions available without medication. Pay very close attention here. This is where most people go wrong. The fourth fruit is one nearly every senior eats, but almost everyone eats it at the wrong time in the wrong form. Apples. A whole, unpeeled apple, specifically a Granny Smith or another tart green variety, is a blood sugar ally. The skin contains quercetin, a flavonoid that inhibits intestinal glucose absorption, and the flesh is dense with pectin, a soluble fiber that forms a gel in your digestive tract and dramatically slows sugar release. But apple juice, applesauce, and dried apple chips strip out the fiber and concentrate the sugar. The same fruit that protects you in whole form damages you in processed form. A study published in the BMJ in 2013 analyzed dietary data from 187,382 participants and found that consuming 3 whole apples per week was associated with a 7% reduced risk of developing type 2 diabetes, while drinking apple juice was associated with an 8% increased risk. Same fruit, opposite outcomes. 1 medium green apple, eaten whole with skin, after lunch or dinner. Never juiced. Never blended, never dried. Drop the word fruit in the comments if this is changing how you think about what you eat. It tells me this information is reaching people who need it. This one is different from everything else on this list. The fifth fruit acts not on insulin or glucose absorption, but on the gut bacteria that regulate your entire metabolic response. Kiwi fruit. 2 green kiwi fruits per day supply more prebiotic fiber per gram than almost any other fruit. That prebiotic fiber feeds specific bacterial strains, particularly Bifidobacterium and Lactobacillus, that produce short-chain fatty acids in your colon. Those short-chain fatty acids, especially butyrate, communicate directly with your pancreatic beta cells and improve their ability to produce insulin efficiently. Think of it like tuning a piano. The instrument is not broken. The strings just need to be brought back into proper tension. Butyrate is the tuner. A 2015 study in the journal Diabetes Care found that improved gut microbiome diversity was independently associated with a 26% improvement in insulin sensitivity in adults over 60. 2 kiwi fruits, sliced, eaten with a meal that contains protein. The actinidin enzyme in kiwi also improves protein digestion, which means the amino acids from your meal reach your bloodstream more effectively to support muscle and metabolic health simultaneously. Don't let its position on this list fool you. The sixth fruit is the one I prescribe most frequently to patients over 65 because of its accessibility and its remarkably consistent effect on post-meal blood sugar. Strawberries. Fresh, whole strawberries contain a compound called ficatine that has been shown in preclinical studies to reduce insulin resistance at the cellular level and protect pancreatic beta cells from oxidative damage. A 2017 study published in the journal Nutrients found that consuming 250 grams of strawberries with a high-carbohydrate meal reduced the post-meal insulin spike by 24% compared to the same meal without strawberries. 1 cup of fresh strawberries, eaten with or immediately after your highest carbohydrate meal of the day. Here is where the science gets genuinely interesting. The seventh fruit works in a way that sounds almost paradoxical. Grapefruit. Half a grapefruit before a meal acts like a metabolic primer. It contains naringenin, a flavonoid that activates an enzyme called AMP-activated protein kinase, or AMPK. AMPK is sometimes called the metabolic master switch. When activated, it tells your cells to increase glucose uptake without needing additional insulin. Think of it like opening a second door into a crowded room. The same number of people need to get inside, but now they have 2 entrances instead of 1. Less pressure, less bottleneck. A study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food in 2006 found that consuming half a grapefruit before each meal for 12 weeks resulted in a 10% reduction in fasting insulin and measurable weight loss in obese adults. One critical warning: grapefruit interacts with certain medications, including some statins and blood pressure drugs. Check with your pharmacist before adding grapefruit if you take prescription medications. But here is where hope enters this story. The 8th, 9th, and 10th fruits round out this system, and all 3 share a common trait. They are low glycemic, widely available, and extraordinarily high in the specific polyphenols that protect the organs most damaged by blood sugar. Raspberries contain ellagic acid, which reduces glucose production in the liver. Pears contain arbutin, which supports kidney filtration of excess glucose. And lemons, squeezed into water or over food, contain eriocitrin, a flavonoid shown in a 2010 study in the Journal of Clinical Biochemistry and Nutrition, to suppress blood sugar elevation after meals by 19%. Half a cup of raspberries, 1 medium pear eaten with skin, and the juice of 1 lemon in water daily. Simple, cheap, consistent. Now let me tell you what happened to Edna. After I explained the difference between high glycemic and low glycemic fruit, we rebuilt her daily intake from scratch. We removed the morning banana and replaced it with 3/4 of a cup of wild blueberries eaten after her eggs. We removed the orange juice entirely and replaced it with lemon water. We removed the afternoon grapes and replaced them with 1 sliced green apple with a tablespoon of almond butter. We added half an avocado to her lunch and half a grapefruit before her dinner. Nothing else changed. Same medications, same walking routine, same calorie range. 12 weeks later, Edna's A1C dropped from 8.4 to 7.1. Her fasting glucose went from 142 to 118. Her endocrinologist reduced her sulfonylurea dose by half. Edna called me on a Sunday afternoon. She was crying. "Dr. Catherine, my granddaughter asked me to make her a birthday cake yesterday. I made it. I even had a small slice, and my blood sugar the next morning was 121. I have not seen that number after eating cake in 6 years. I am not afraid of food anymore. That is not a miracle. That is what happens when you stop eating the fruits that attack your pancreas and start eating the ones that defend it. Now let me tell you which fruits to avoid. Ripe bananas, watermelon, pineapple, ripe mangoes, grapes, dried dates, dried figs, and any fruit consumed as juice or in a smoothie. Every single one of these delivers sugar to your bloodstream faster than your insulin response can manage after 60. They are not bad foods. They are bad choices for a body that has lost its ability to process rapid sugar loads. Replace them with the 10 fruits on this list. Eat those fruits whole. Eat them after meals. Eat them with protein or fat. And watch what happens to your numbers. It is not too late. Your pancreas has not surrendered. Your cells have not stopped listening permanently. Insulin resistance is not a life sentence. It is a supply and demand problem, and you just learned how to rebalance the equation with the most powerful pharmacy on earth, your grocery store. Here is what I need you to do right now. Think of one person, your husband, your wife, your sister, your friend, someone who is struggling with blood sugar, someone who eats fruit every day believing it is helping when it may be making things worse. Send them this video right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. That share could be the turning point in their health. If you have not subscribed yet, hit that button now. My mission is bringing you research-backed health information that is accessible, practical, and genuinely life-changing. That is what every video on this channel is designed to do. In my next video, I am covering the 5 morning mistakes that spike your blood sugar before you even eat breakfast, and I guarantee you are making at least 2 of them right now. You will want to see that. I am Dr. Catherine, and your health is the only metric that matters. I will see you in the next consultation.